and welcome back to my channel, Sunshine Lorena. So August is over. Like, where has this year went? But I'm here back with another wrap-up video. These are all the books I've read in August. I read 11 in total. July I read 5. So yeah, really increased the book reading this month. I had 2 weeks holiday, so it did help increase. Also, I did a readathon, which I will link up and below for you to go watch if you want to. So yeah, just let's get into it. So the first book I read in August was The Man in the High Castle, which is by Philip K. Dick. I decided to read this one because I'd seen the TV series, which I really enjoyed. So if you don't know, it is basically as if the Germans had won the war, and it's set in America in this alternate timeline. And yeah, all the things that would have happened if they'd won. It's well written. I didn't enjoy it as much as the TV series, which is unusual for me because I normally always prefer the book. I just feel like I didn't love the characters as much as I did in the TV series, and also the book is a bit different because you don't really get to see so much of the German occupied part of America. It's more focused on the Japanese part and then the neutral zone. But yeah, no, it was good. I did enjoy it. I gave it a 3-star. But yeah, really unusual for me to prefer the TV series over the book. But yeah, no, I still enjoyed it. Glad I read it. But yeah, so still enjoyed it. Second book of the month, Story of a New Name by Elena Ferrante. It is the second book in the Neapolitan novel series. Last month I read the first one, My Brilliant Friend. So it's continuing the story of these two women and their lifelong friendship, which goes through ups and downs throughout their lives. This one it was about their youth, so it's their late teens into the early mid-20s, and it picked up straight off where the first one left, which was right after the wedding of Leela. And yes, so what can I say that I'm not going to ruin? There's lots of themes explored in this. You know, after the ending of the first one, the marriage doesn't really get off to a good start between her and her husband, and very quickly he beats her up for some things, and everyone kind of just seems to brush it off. I mean, this was like the late 50s, early 60s, so they just accept it as normal, except from Lenu, which is our friend, who, sees it completely different. But a large portion of this book takes part in Ischia, which is off the coast of Naples, a little island. So there's a summer that they spend there, and the majority of the book takes part there. And then there are things that happen there that really impacts then the rest of the storylines in the novel. I'm not going to tell you because then I will ruin it. And what happens there, I can see, is definitely going to shape also what the lives of one of them for the rest of the series. Like, you can see that the direction is going to push that person in, and I'm not saying which one it is. But yeah, I really enjoyed it more than the first one, and I gave it a 45. I'm really excited to read the third book. I am hopefully going to do that in September. But yeah, excellent, recommend. Then I read Red Dust Road by Jackie Kay, which is a memoir autobiography. She is Scottish, she is adopted, and this is her story of how she kind of traced her family, so her mother and her father, to find out who they were. It all started when she was pregnant with her own child, and she was getting asked questions by doctors about medical history. They want to know is there certain things that run her family, and she didn't know, and then had this feeling that she needed to go and find out who they were. But she had wonderful parents, her adoptive parents, and she had a wonderful adopted brother as well. And yeah, and it's exploring her finding her Highland mother and then her Nigerian father. But yeah, it was a wonderful story of her exploring, finding out, you know, family, and it doesn't always work out the way that you think it will, but then, you know, she finds other families well. I'm not going to say too much more. I didn't give it a rating. I don't know, I don't feel like you should really rate people's life stories, you know? Unless it's like an extremely, exceptionally well written, like blow my mind. But yeah, I don't really want to judge someone's life story. But yes, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, recommend. Then I read The House Guest by Mark Edwards. This book, I loved it. It's a thriller, and it is this English couple who are house sitting for this couple in New York, who they met on a cruise. And one day this woman turns up at the door claiming to know the couple, that she's friends with them, and they said that she could stay anytime she was in New York. And they let her stay. That's basically what it said in the back of the book, and that's what intrigued me, and I wanted to read it. So it, like I said, it's a thriller, and what happens is not what I expected to happen. Like, I never would have thought that would happen. And then there's twists, like there's things happening you think you know, and then twist. And then you're like, okay, I know that twist now, and then it twists again. And yeah, I couldn't put it down. I could not put that book down. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Amazing. Also, he's partly written other books, and I definitely wanted to read some of the other ones because I really enjoyed this one. But yeah, if you're looking for a good thriller, The House Guest, definitely. Then I read A Decent Family by Rosa Ventrella. She's an Italian author. This book was compared to kind of, if you like Elena Ferrante's books, then you'll like this, so I thought I'll give it a go. This one is set in Bari, which is the heel of the boot, and it's set in the 80s, so it is a different time frame, but it does have similar parallels in the sense that our main character, she is also growing up in a poor background, and she's very much a person of her circumstance, and also there is that strive of, you know, going for education to try and improve one's life as well. So it's about this girl called Maria, or she gets called Malacarne, which they've translated as the bad seed, because she has a bit of a bad streak to her at times. So it starts when she's a child and follows her up until about her early 20s. This book for me, I didn't really start enjoying it until about 70% of the way in. So I gave it a 3 stars because of that. Otherwise, if it really captivated me a bit before, I think I might have given it more. But that last 30% of the book that was really well written, but I felt like it was a little bit late for me, and it could have been a bit before. But yeah, it follows her, like I said, it follows her life, and yeah, there's a few parallels with Ella Ferrante's book in terms of the themes and things that are shown throughout, and also a friendship she has, except it's a male friend, and I'm not going to say any more than that, so I don't ruin it if you decide to read it. Alright, the next one was Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I saw this recommended by Drinking by Shelf. I really enjoyed this. I gave it a 4 star. And basically there's this cafe in Tokyo that people can time travel. And there are different rules as to how it has to be done and what they can and can't do. But the main one is you have to drink the coffee before it gets cold to return back to the present otherwise there will be a consequence to that. Yes, so what I enjoyed about this book is there is a few characters who are in throughout the book. You know, it's people who work there and a couple of the regular people that actually go to the cafe. And then you have 4 different stories for the time traveling. And my favourite one was the second one. It just made me well up a little bit. Yeah. And then the last one as well, actually. The last one as well. But yeah, so I thought that was really interesting because then you saw the different reasons why people want to go back in time. And I don't think I mentioned, you can only go back in time and visit somebody who has visited the cafe, and it has to be in the cafe. So yeah, so everyone has a different reason for going back, and everyone gets something different out of it. Apparently it is a trilogy. There is, the second one should be translated into English. I think it's now September that it's coming out. I need to double check, but I'm definitely going to buy it. I'm looking forward to reading that one. And I really enjoyed reading a book written by a Japanese author, because it is a very different style. But I really enjoyed that. So I recommend. It's also not a very big book, but it's just such a lovely premise and a lovely book. I really, 4 stars. And now it's the books that I did for the Rory Gilmore 24-hour reading challenge. So I'm not going to go into too much details about them because you can see like my reactions and things in that video, which I will link. So the first one is Letters to a Young Poet, which is a collection of letters, and it's, I enjoyed it. I'd never read a collection of letters. It's Rayner's letters only. You don't actually see the responses, but yeah, it's full of advice on different aspects of life, not only writing but also love, you know, lots of advice, and it was lovely. I gave it 4 stars. It's not something that I would have normally picked up, and I'm really glad that I did. Then next I read The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. I think everyone knows it's a poem. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. You know, it's a bit gothic. Yeah, really enjoyable. Then I went on to The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. It's my first time reading this. It is, people will say that it's like an American classic. You should know what, I think most people know what it's about, but it's set in the 1920s, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this book. It's not that thick. I thought because people call it a classic, it was going to be like this thick book, but yeah, no, it wasn't. So I loved kind of reading about that time, the decadence, you know, the luxury, the mystery surrounding Gatsby. Yeah, enjoyed it. Then I read, not all of this, but I read Stephen King's Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. It was my first King book. This is a novella. It was 133 pages. So it's classed as a novella. I really enjoyed it. I can see that the film very much stayed true to the original story. So I also gave it a 4 out of 5 because I really enjoyed the film and I really enjoyed the writing. And I definitely want to read a few more of Stephen King's novellas and books and things. So yeah. Then I read, which one was it next? What order was it? Oh yeah, no. Last one. Alice's Adventure in Wonderland. It's a children's classic. Everyone knows the story. Pretty sure most people have seen the Disney film on it, or there was also the film in the 2010 or something as well. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It was my first time reading that as well. And I think I'm not somebody who really reads classics, but I think children's classics is a really good introduction. There are a lot more characters and things in the book actually than the film that you see, so I enjoyed that. and I also gave it a 4 out of 5. And that's it. That's 11 books in August. I am really happy. I read a lot. The readathon did help, and the fact that I read quite a few smaller books this month definitely helped put the numbers up. Yeah, I enjoyed, I think I gave a lot of 4 stars actually in August. I enjoyed a lot of my books, which is not a bad thing, because no one really wants to read a bad book, do they? So yeah, I'm looking forward to September. I don't know if I'll be able to read quite as much because I don't have any holidays, and yeah, I only have a couple of books planned that I know that I definitely want to read, but the rest I'll leave it up to my mood and see what I do and what I do and don't read. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and thank you. Yeah, thanks for taking the time to watch my video, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.